Welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's Eva here with another shocking update that's turning heads across the nation. Josh Duggar, yes, that Josh Duggar is back in the headlines, and this time he's not staying silent. From behind bars, he's launched a fresh legal bid to overturn his child pornography conviction, and the reason? He's citing new strategies in public discourse, a move that's raising eyebrows and sparking serious controversy. What exactly is he planning? How does this differ from his previous attempts? And could this bizarre new tactic actually work? Stick with me because what you're about to hear will leave you stunned. Let's begin. Josh Duggar launches fresh bid to overturn child porn conviction, citing new strategies in public discourse. In a shocking and highly controversial development that has reignited public scrutiny and ignited fierce debate across social media and legal circles, Josh Duggar, the disgraced former reality TV star of 19 Kids and Counting, has filed a brand new legal motion in a determined bid to have his child pornography conviction vacated. The motion, filed on Tuesday in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Arkansas, hinges on what Duggar's legal team is calling new legal theories and strategies that have emerged in public discourse. This latest attempt represents a bold and arguably desperate move by Duggar and his defense attorneys, who appear to be banking on shifting legal paradigms and high-profile discourse to reopen a case many had considered a tragic chapter closed. Josh Duggar, once known as the squeaky clean eldest son of the famously devout Duggar family, was convicted in December 2021 on 2 counts of receiving and possessing child pornography. He was sentenced to more than 12 years in federal prison after a damning trial in which graphic and horrifying content found on his personal computer played a central role. Duggar has maintained his innocence, and his legal team has pursued various avenues of appeal over the years, each unsuccessful thus far. But this new motion, described by legal analysts as a long shot, seeks to invoke the evolving interpretations of digital rights, search and seizure legality, and procedural integrity that have been at the center of legal think pieces, academic discourse, and recent federal rulings. At the heart of Duggar's new motion is a claim that the initial evidence used to convict him was unlawfully obtained, despite prior court rulings that found the search to be lawful and warranted. Duggar's attorneys now argue that there is a new lens through which such cases must be examined, particularly concerning how forensic digital evidence is acquired and handled by federal agents. The defense is capitalizing on what they describe as a growing body of critical opinion around law enforcement's access to and interpretation of computer data, especially in cases involving third-party usage, technical anomalies, and the potential for planted evidence. In the court documents, Duggar's attorneys assert that emerging legal thought leaders have questioned whether current investigative protocols sufficiently protect the constitutional rights of the accused in the digital age. This assertion is paired with references to several recent high-profile cases and academic writings that challenge long-standing precedents related to digital privacy. Duggar's legal team appears to be suggesting that the FBI's methods in examining his computer could be re-evaluated in light of such developments, an argument that some observers say is more rhetorical than substantive, yet others view as potentially impactful given the constantly shifting legal terrain. One of the most striking elements of the filing is the defense's reference to the court of public opinion, a term that typically resides in the realm of media narratives rather than serious legal argument. Duggar's motion notes that the public discourse has evolved, pointing to think pieces and legal symposia that have questioned whether individuals accused of digital crimes are being given the same presumption of innocence and legal safeguards as those accused of non-digital offenses. Though controversial, this assertion highlights a broader trend within the legal community, a rising concern about the imbalance between technology's sophistication and the judiciary's ability to understand and fairly adjudicate such cases. Moreover, the motion draws attention to the increasing complexity of determining culpability when multiple individuals may have access to a single device. During the original trial, Duggar's defense had attempted to claim that someone else could have accessed the computer found at his car dealership office. Federal investigators, however, presented extensive evidence including activity logs, timestamps, and testimony that directly linked Duggar to the illicit content. This new motion does not provide new evidence per se, but instead attempts to reframe old evidence through a new legal prism, one that emphasizes ambiguity and the potential for technological misinterpretation. While the courts have traditionally resisted what critics call legal trend chasing, Duggar's motion comes at a time when the judiciary is indeed wrestling with modern legal conundrums brought forth by the explosion of digital data. The U.S. Supreme Court itself has shown an increasing willingness to examine how digital privacy intersects with Fourth Amendment protections, such as in the landmark Carpenter v. United States case, which ruled that accessing cell phone location records requires a warrant. Duggar's team appears to be leveraging the spirit of such rulings in an effort to inject fresh doubt into a conviction that was previously considered airtight. In another twist, Duggar's motion also accuses federal prosecutors of having engaged in what the defense calls narrative-based prosecution, a tactic wherein the alleged moral character of the accused becomes a focal point of the trial. According to the filing, this approach undermined Duggar's right to a fair trial by shifting juror attention away from the actual forensic evidence and toward his past scandals, including his widely publicized admissions of molesting his younger sisters during his teenage years, a revelation that led to the cancellation of 19 kids and counting in 2015. Legal experts are sharply divided over the merits of this claim. Some argue that Duggar's history was not only relevant but essential to understanding patterns of behavior and motive. Others, particularly among privacy and civil liberties advocates, suggest that courts must tread carefully when allowing past uncharged conduct to inform a current trial, especially one so deeply tied to digital evidence that may already be difficult for lay jurors to grasp in technical detail. Outside the courtroom, Duggar's renewed appeal has sparked a flurry of reactions online. Supporters of the Duggar family, who continue to maintain a loyal if diminished fanbase, have praised the motion as a courageous attempt to fight what they see as a flawed legal system. Detractors, however, have lambasted the move as a manipulative and cynical ploy that further traumatizes the victims and tarnishes the credibility of real discussions about digital rights. From a legal standpoint, Duggar's latest motion faces steep odds. His previous appeal was rejected in 2023, with the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals finding no fault with the lower court's procedures or evidentiary rulings. Any new consideration would require not only a willingness by the court to revisit previously settled matters but also a willingness to treat evolving public commentary as a valid basis for vacating a conviction, a standard that is, at best, nebulous and at worst, legally untenable. Still, Duggar's attorneys seem to be counting on the possibility that judicial attitudes may be more pliable now than they were in years past. They are also likely hoping that the ongoing spotlight on the legitimacy of digital evidence, especially in high-profile cases, could create just enough of a crack in the legal wall to force a reconsideration. Whether this strategy is successful remains to be seen, but it certainly underscores a disturbing and dramatic reality: that even convictions grounded in concrete forensic evidence can remain vulnerable to the ever-shifting winds of legal discourse and public opinion. In the meantime, victims' advocates have spoken out forcefully against the motion, expressing concern that such legal maneuvers risk re-traumatizing those harmed by child exploitation and undermining confidence in the justice system's ability to hold perpetrators accountable.